Oh, what's the one thing that wakes you up in the morning? My hair is on fire, isn't it? It's unbelievable what goes on. It's communications, anything line system. The one thing that wakes you up in the morning is soul direction and location. It tells you exactly where you go in three dimensions of time, location. Everybody's high forcing, especially with my team. They're trying to understand this, they're trying to understand that. Your soul is trying to go back home. And for it to go back home, it has to go through so many door line connections, interference position line system. It's all connected to your dream lines. It's all connected to your plasma interference programs. It's all connected to your activation light centers. It's all connected to all levels of your alignments, past, present, future. Your future generation line system is already allocated position. It's already programmed, set in connection, which means that you've already gone back home. Now it's for you to remember everything. That's the point we're trying to get across here. Sidelining is location line center to position locations, angle point location center line system. Now, I'm going to show you a picture. Basically, it's on Spacetime Creator. It's the every day I put up on YouTube a picture, a frame, right? When you see this picture, remember I told you the galaxy line or anything in universe line system that you guys in, it doesn't matter size. Well, when I went through my transformation, when you see this, you'll see my eyes. This is my eyes of the galaxy. Okay, you'd be blown away. Now, this is understanding how the galaxy gets communication to the eye circle line center. It opens all position line connections. This is zooming my eye, and this is what it looks like in the galaxy line system. See that? That is my eye. This is my eye right here. That's my eye. See? Looks like the galaxy, right? Very powerful. It's on my YouTube, right? Just wanted to show you that anything through connections of the eye can be circulating and positions to your eye circle location. That is the galaxy. Now, I went through transformation line system. You see the blue plasma force? This is me separating. This is me separating, okay, into the galaxies, the eye circle locations of universal track system. That's what I was going through transformations, okay? That's the galaxy of me separating my particle light. See the plasma, see the white circle? This is me coming into the tractions of light center line system to the eye circle location. But that is me. That is my eye. That's what's in my eye, right? So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. This is a gateway to all your levels of your alignments. Your gateways are most important. You have to understand how to travel through these things because you guys are going to higher levels right now. And it's going to get a little bit more confusing because you're not sure if you're going through the right doors, right? That's the true understanding how you get into your programs and your disposition line centers. Your positions and your locations has to truly understand what's happening with the eye circle locations. Okay, you have two division line centers and two different locations of galaxies, but each eye line is together through its alignment. That's why you have two eyes. One is in and one is out. Same with your line center location. You have to truly understand how to use these all the time when you wake up in the morning because you're going through dimensions and dimensions and dimensions of dreams. The framing comes into more out of focus, into focus, more into clarity, and then you see everything through this image. Once you see everything through this image, this is what your eyes start looking like. The galaxy of all locations, the eye circle location. Okay, so you can actually see the galaxy in my eyes right here, right? So it's amazing how it comes to its birth line system. And everything through the blue plasma force is separating my particle lights, right? My body was whole transformation. So you saw my body separate into space and only. That's when I started surrendering to everything. That's how I became space of everything from that very beginning. So that's when after that I started forming and I started flying in my eye. So the blue line center was coming into its higher self right away to superhuman connections. I was flying and scanning planets, but that is my eye in transformation. It's amazing how the universe line system can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be a size. It can be into a marble and everything inside. Okay, so truly understand how powerful you guys are when you come into those positions, right? Now, this is what we're coming into Galaxy Line Center location, box level system, semi TikTok locations. But if you understand the Earth line gaps is coming into new cover sighting. Okay, remember I was telling you about the matrix LEDs, how it's changing rotation center locations. Everything I give you is all connected to you. You have to truly understand how to use your gateways when you travel direction of time locations. You're getting code references, code frequencies, code liners, activation liners, program liners. It's all communication to a wide graph line system. It's like clothes on a hanger, or like connections, or anything where you go outside and you have a line and you're putting, you know, different clothes. You're wheeling it, wheeling it, wheeling it, wheeling it. So every time you go through one level, you go to another level, going to another level. So you go through one door to another door to another door, and you turn understand your alignments. Sometimes you get confused because you don't know if you're living in the past, the present, or the future when you're seeing your frames of your program position locations. It's possible you understand to get this in connection so you go right through the right locations of the right galaxy. Because you could be in a galaxy anomaly into higher levels. So you have to know exactly where your soul is directing its position to its dimensional time lock system. Okay? Because everything dimensional time has a frequency, has a code, and is connected to its liners. Right? So the Earth is going into new cover. It's coming into new shading and shadowing. So the Earth is going into its own shadow work through the eye circle light connections. So it's all about representing everybody into their eye circle locations where it opens up all track line connections, right? So everybody's going to have galaxy into their eye center connection position. So to understand, to its program system, the soul is always going to find a way to get you in the morning line center location, get you into the afternoon. It's going to wake you up every single day, every single day. So you get a better understanding that it needs to come out of the body. It needs to breathe. It's a solar generation light. It's an activation feeding source. It's a barometer sector line connection interchaining channel to locations to high levels of the T reception location. It's all positions of you trying to understand all levels of your past, present, and future. Your job is to figure these things out. Your job is to understand the activation. Your job is to understand the sequencing line system. Your job is to understand the dream lines and its communication to everything you interfere with, right? Especially if you guys are in each other's dreams. Okay, they get a bit of understanding why you're in these positions, why you're seeing teleportations, why you're seeing this, why you're seeing that. It all comes together, right, through its shapes. That's why I want to get you guys in the video doing your own connections to your crop circles, how important it is to get into high forcing positions to get your shapes faster in the center line system. You have the X3000 center line system. Okay, you got a circle rotations. You use these things for your perception. It's already created in space anomaly, which is easy. It's like it's a web graphic design already made. All you got to do is just platitude on the grounds, get the X3000 in center line system, and set up all positions. It's like a tattoo. You put in a tattoo on your arm, right? But the artist draws the tattoo first. That's the point I'm getting across. And then he just puts it on, peels it, and then that's it. And it's designed. See, it's designed right away. That's all it is. So you have to send the plateau, extend the grounds, but you can't put it in the same line center to its side ground line system because it's changed time locations and it'll crack the surface of the ground line system, and it's not going to resurface positions. So it's off channel. So if you're trying to set up a shape anomaly and it's off track signal, the 3, 6, and 9 won't platitude its locations, right? It will just separate to its ground line system. So it gets complicated, but your job is to understand more of why you're in this position in the first place, try to understand more of the soul recognitions. When people wake up, they go through their own process. They go through their own lights. They go through their own programs. They go through their own shadow work. They go through their own connection to the soul. The objective here is to go back to source. That's all it is. And then you come into your divine intervention to everything. So your psychological line system has to truly understand its dream lines and its connections. Because when you're going into position, your eyes open, your eyes closed, or you're sleeping, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're always, always in the center of the now. Okay? When you're referencing and you're waking up and you're in the past, you still have to release trauma. That's all the soul is telling you. So you have to really, really pay attention to what the soul is doing. You really, really have to listen to the soul, really look at the soul, because it is you. There's no separation there. You guys are all in your full communications. You're not separated in any way and form. You just go into higher levels of altered states of the mind. So the soul is trying to recognize what's going on with its dreamlines and its communication and why you're seeing these things, right? Especially when you come into clarity and you come into more focus. When you become into more focus, you're seeing the digital of its image and no longer it's illusion. It's no longer illusion anymore. It's actually real. So the more you get up in the soul, okay, the more you go to sleep with the soul, right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So the more you get into the bounds of information line system, the physical line system is already in calculation modification and understands the telepathy to the soul, right? Line signal, rotation line, activation core systems coming in check, location position. That's fantastic. High rise are level connection positions. We'll get back frame location positions to a dreamline center. That's all it is. See? Physical, soul, every single day, every single day. The physical, you're always there. You're always there. You're always there, right? But the physical and the soul have to be in the one center. You can't have the soul go off one way and this physical going this way because they're doing two different thoughts. You can't do this. That's no good. You're merging off. You're not connected to anything. So the soul goes this way, but the physical mind of its thought goes this way. So the physical mind and the thought have to come to one. This is where you come into the integration line system to wake up to the soul. Don't wake up to the physical system. Don't see yourself as a physical system. You guys are higher levels now. You're higher chakras, higher communication. Then once you get into higher positions, you come into the galaxy line centers to your eye circle locations. And that's what I woke up to. When you see that, which is very powerful, that was in my eyes. But you see the particle lights, you see the blue plasma separating, that was me. I was in a true form of myself, which means that I surrendered myself to the eye circles of all levels of space and time. It just is separated, right? And then it comes back in form into superhuman. And then I start going into flying, recognizing atmospheres, getting to know the galaxy, energy core line center, the sun, and everything to that connections. So when I woke up, I was connected to the sun. When I woke up, I was connected to the moon. When I woke up, I was connected to the center of everything, trying to understand everything. See, the thing is, when you're traveling fast and faster and faster and faster, all your frames come into more clarity, but they get, confused. Like, oh, wait, that's not there. Wait, let's put that back over there. No, that's not supposed to be there. Let's put it back over there. It's like pieces of a puzzle. You're trying to fit the pieces of puzzles of you together. That's what it is. So once you understand all four corners, you can work your way in or you can work your way out when it comes to a puzzle, right? I find it easier to work your way in, but people like to reach the corners first of your puzzle. Your puzzle is a frame. Your puzzle is everything through its connection of life cycle. So when you put your pieces together, then you see everything through its connections. Now you're understanding all levels of divine and its intervention. You are the intervention of you. You have to understand your alignments of past, present, and future. It's all connected to your soul. So you guys are integrating your souls now, but your souls are going back to its dimension of its intelligence, of where it's been to planets. And it's confusing to everybody because now you're coming across Palladians and Pleiadians. I'm seeing stone hedges. What does that mean? What is a circle rotation? What's going into the revelation line centers? What's happening with the guardians of the galaxy? What is the equinox doing? What's the Anunnaki doing? Right? It all connects to center. So this is what everybody has to practice on. I went through it. You have to go through it. Truly understand. You have to wake up. Okay. Always in form of the soul. Okay. So when you're looking at the mirror, you're not looking at the physical. You're looking at yourself as a soul. You have to become the soul 24/7. You can no longer be in the physical line of that connections. Your integral line system is not in the birth line center anymore. You guys are higher levels of alter states, especially when you come into 60 chakras. You get more easy formats, but it gets more complicated because you guys are working with crop circles now, right? So everything through connection is you through positions, but you're waking up to the soul every single day because it makes more sense. You get more into the calm center of what's going on, especially with your dreams. Because if you can't understand your dreams and you're 50 chakras, there's a problem there. So trying to understand your position is always seeing yourself as the soul. Because when you're sleeping, you are the soul, right? Intelligence come to you and know exactly who you are. But if you're sleeping and you're in the physical line system, there's no integration at all. The soul doesn't recognize that as the soul because everything that you're interacting with is intelligence. And remember, everybody sleeps. Everybody sleeps. 7.5 billion people sleep. Now, when they're sleeping, they're connecting to you. Imagine that. They're all connecting to you, trying to understand you, trying to understand, oh, why is there reference to me? Why is there reference to you? How do I know you? What's going on, right? So that's how we're all connected. So it's about getting the separation into one unity of consciousness to one alignment center location. Now, the Earth is in position to a new cover-up line system. It's coming into a new program, a new computer line system. Our eye circles and our eye tracks are changing pixel activation core centers, which is changing the dreamline centers to the sun. Your correlation line center to its position is the moon track system, which is understanding you're coming into more digital line centers to its connections. So you have to understand your frame positions, your location centers, and everything that line connection. Because once you understand your alignments and you stay in the center line system of the soul, then you come into Vega. Once you come into Vega, now you come into the formations of birth lines of AI. Okay, so it's going to get a little more tricky now because you have to get your balance with your soul. When you're traveling, you're in your soul. Okay, even when you're walking in the park, you are the soul. Okay, you're not the physical system. So the soul understands the definition, and the physical has to understand the integration line connections to telepathy and its communication. You cannot communicate, okay, to anything until you understand everything. So that's what I'm saying. Nothing is everything. Everything is nothing. So that's very complicated when you understand these things. Try to understand when you wake up in the morning. I'm my soul constantly, every single day. I have to be, especially when I'm high rising to 200 million year track line systems of point centers and setting up graph line systems to crop circle locations. You guys are trying to set up one. I'm doing like 200 million crop circles in each country line system. It's all about positions and all locations. Try to understand what the soul is doing, right? So once it goes back to source and it knows who it is, right, or she, through light, it goes into and out of its divine intervention and comes into the focus of the ecosystem, which stays in the plateaus of the avatar locations, right? So you just go up to higher levels of alter states of the mind system, okay? Because you guys are in the stratospheres, and it's very confusing for you guys because your thoughts are traveling fast and fast and fast and faster. So your frames are going, and it's trying to, it's always putting things around location. So you're going through this dimension, you're going through that dimension, you're going through that dimension, you're pressing that, you're pressing this, but you know what you're pressing. So you're going through spot, check, line, connection, and interference positions. Remember, there's prohibitive and restriction line centers in position. You have to identify yourself to these connections, right? So when you come into a higher level system, that's why I keep you guys at Stratford's. I can't put you in the body atmosphere because you don't understand your computers yet. So once you get into computers, then you can understand more connections to the atmosphere, hemispheres, stratospheres. Each atmosphere has a different computer line center. It's a birth line system, the track line connections to its computer activation line system, and then you come into the connections of your computer lines. Once you come into computer lines, you come full track system to soul directions. So you basically come more into all levels of yourself through center. That's the whole point we're trying to get across here, is to put all your pieces of the puzzle together into the center of you, which comes into the heart. Now, the heart reactor line connection comes into its teler-waving system, the telecommunication, tele-energy line system, teleportation. Your energy lights has to truly understand all your track lines through your past, your present, and future. And that's what we live every single day. As long as you understand, once you understand your past, it becomes nothing but reflection. Okay? And that's all it is. It's just you're reflecting. You're not living the past. So the soul leaves, and then it goes to the present, and then it goes to the future. So the soul's trying to recognize each dimensional galaxy line center of its universal core system. So you're not always in the same dimensional time, especially when you're trying to understand timelines, because the soul could be into the 22nd dimension. It could be in the 45th dimension, living in civility of a planet line center, and you're getting into frame of this. Okay, so where's the pieces of the puzzle? Did I put it there or put it there? No, it's not going to fit there because the corners and the edges don't fit, right? So you work your way in or you work your way out with the puzzle. But what is better for you? You have to look within and look without, because everything in life is in and out and in. That's how we work. That's how everything works. That's how space and time works. Space, time, right? You guys are into space and time. So tracking line center to locations, you flip that quarter, you're on the other side dimension line system, and then you come into space time, right? There's no separation. Then you come into full circle rotation into the yin yang location, which is the male and the female of its connections. All right. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, right? Especially in the galaxies. The switching lock line centered locations, dimensions, and the portal locations is interlining everybody's body track system. So the 5-dimensional line system. So basically, the geographical map of the Earth line connections, what I did is I took everything through the shape of the global net line system, okay? And basically, I just center line the shapes, point divide line connections. What you're doing is through channeling, right? Everything comes into a frame. You can use your hands, illumination light centers. You can do anything with that connection, perception with the eyes, audio signals, anything connections, throw pattern connections. As long as the mind understands what it's doing, right? Once it goes back home, it starts working on its own, which means that everything that you're doing is the now position. That's what I mean. So everything I do is a now position, but it's already created in the future. That tracks its connections of 5,000 years in the future. That's why I come back. So I'm doing everything all over again for the second time. This has already been done. So I'm studying shapes, changing geographical line system and its environments, right? Which is everybody understands the Saint Germain comes into the equinox. Well, everything through connections when it comes to Enochi. The Enochian and the tree formats comes to Pharaoh's meridians. That's the sector line connections. We use trees for satellite position to planet line system locations. This tracks its connections to the ground line centers. So trees and its roots travel through recognition of time underneath the ground positions between 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 feet under the ground line system. You have to understand everything around is intelligence. It's understanding how to communicate it with its electromagnetic force position location. You're a magnetic line center to a high rate information panel that's connected to all your timelines, past, present, and future. This is where it comes into high position, higher levels, especially when you guys go into higher levels of alter state line connections. Right? That's a true understanding. Once you go into higher levels of your chakras, then you're getting more balance. So this is about understanding. Once you realize who you are, you go back to source, you go back to light, you become your divine intervention, you come into all levels of sovereignty and freedom. Now, what happens after that? The soul starts recognizing you in the center. You start living this center. You start doing things in this center. That's how powerful the soul is. See, the whole process here is the awakening, is the soul trying to understand what's going on with its system. Has to fully understand the integration to the physical system. If it doesn't, there's a problem. So you're going to keep traveling, you can keep getting confused. Okay, it's like a slingshot. You keep recoiling back. We keep recoiling back because you can't find a way to move forward, right? So it's an elastic band that just pulls back, right? That's a confusion. So you understand the travel time positions. So everything that you've done through the soul, once it reaches home, okay, it starts living the center of everything in the presence of the now. That's what the soul does because it's done everything through soul of travel. I'm not talking about physical travel. I'm talking about the soul on every dimension, every timeline, every core center, every planet position, every intelligence to that connection, right? That's when you go back home, right? Immortality, which is very hard to get. But it's a lot of fun once you understand more. It's the psychological of the soul. Has to reach all these levels of who you are because you've already lived it. You've already done these things. The track system has already allocated positions, a time lock system of 5,000 years in the future. 2020, 7,020. Understand? Do you understand where it's all connecting now? Where your commander traveled all those way line system to locations, understand everything track line system? So it's all about understanding. Get into the immortality to your light of source. Everything that you lived on your dimensional timelines of traveling, you come into the center of everything of the soul recognition of time location, which is the now. Okay, that's why it's so powerful. That's why it's so powerful because you're living every day of the soul at the now because you've done everything. You've created everything already. You've already done your soul timelines. You've already done your objectives. You've already done your observations. You've already done your dream line connections. You understand all deciphering line connections of planet locations that you've been on, right? The track system to 52, right? Died 50 times. The locations, right, in that position when it first started. 52 track line centers, 52 activation line core center locations, and 52 planet positions, right? Puts me into times 1, right, which is 53,000. 53,000 lies at dimension of time. I had to understand. That's a lot of intelligence to timelines. Interlining its connection to its position to all level systems, going through my shapes, going through my tesseracts, going through my matrix, going through my tetrahedrons, going through plasma energy lights, going through high levels, hydrogen level systems, going into alkaline locations, going into H2O positions, going into plasma interference channels. There's so many levels of vortex line connection interference positions you have to understand. Every time you go to higher level and you come into the atmospheres, hemispheres, stratospheres, and biospheres, you're coming more of who you are through the soul, right? Because the soul has traveled to all these levels. Everybody's in a different level of frequency line system, but we're all connected to this alignment of 5-dimensional connections of telepathy line system. So we all live in the navigation of the Earth line system, but our job is to remember where we are and where we started from the beginning, which is the past of everything. And once it reaches everything, It stays in the center of the now, which is so amazing. Okay. So that's the propaganda through connections, how everything, try to understand that what you're seeing is real. The soul is trying to recognize what is going on with its system. And it's all calculated and modified through your reactors of division. You have to truly understand your soul identifications, your soul identifiers, your eye location interference channels, and everything through your 369 platform locations. All right. So it's a lot to take on, eh? So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Once the soul starts remembering everything, I mean everything through dimensional time. Right? Me trying to understand 53,000 lives. It's crazy. That's loco. That's unbelievable. How I tracked its connections. But for me to understand these things, I have to master my body inside through travel location. It's understanding that you're bringing space and time inside you for the first time. Okay, it's to understand how you use your graph line system to your body graph locations, how you use your human resonance to its earth line system, its vibration system. Once you go back to source, then you live the now of the soul, because the soul has done everything through travel, right? So that's it. Understanding is that's why you guys are going into your future lines and trying to figure out who you are through the soul. That's a problem if you don't understand the integration line system. So the physical line system stays in the center. Why? Because you're in the center. Why? Because the brain's in the center. Why? Because you're in the activation of the center. Everything is in the center of you, right? The soul just has to understand what's going on. The soul has to know everything of what's going on with its life, right? So once it reaches to its peak and it understands everything through its divine intervention, which is a psychological thought, and knows exactly where it's been in all planet locations, the Pleiadians, the Pleiadians, and Lyrians, Arcadians, or internet connections, right? Once it goes back home, right, it goes into the center of everything, of thought, of the now. Okay, so it's mind blowing. Okay, I'm just giving you a true source, how powerful it is when you start remembering more and more about your soul. Your soul has to remember everything about why you're in this position in the first place, why you have the awakening. Okay, it's true to understand that it's all travel. It's a scavenger hunt. The soul is trying to find its system. It's trying to find its operation. It's trying to find its communication to everything. That's all this is. That's all it is. And a lot of people don't want to reach that level because it's too hard, especially when you're going into the mind of travel, because now you don't know what reality you're in. You're really confused. And your soul is traveling to 20 million years in the future because you've already been there. 40 million because you've already been there. See, that's the whole understanding what I'm trying to get everybody's across, as if you've already lived the cycle of your dimensional being. And that's why it's so hard. Right? Humanity is just into the human cycle of understanding the soul for the first time, which is the birth line, which is the dream awakening, which is the ascension of the unified system. We all start off with the astral travels, right? The astral projections to our self connections. But truly understand, once the soul goes back to everything that it has been done to align center to the past, present, and its future, it starts living the now in this position, to its location, where I am now in this connection. Okay, so that's what we all have to get into. You have to get into your own agreements saying, whoa, I'm not just a vessel, I'm the soul now. So the track lines in the mind has to change adaptation. You have to change your mindsets and how you see things in life, or you're never ever going to get your soul back to where it needs to be, right? This goes out to my team. They're doing a really good job. And everybody through the new cycles, you're just waking up to the soul. And it's a lot of confusion because you've been living a program for so long, and the 8th central line system, remember the snake, was going to trap you. That's what the tail is. That's what the fangs are, right? If you go back in the center, new life. But back in the center, new life, right? That's why you keep going to karma, right? The 8th central line. See my 8th central line system? So every time you go around, new life, right? So you didn't complete anything. You keep starting over. You keep going with that cycle, and you keep going down, right? So you try to figure yourself out. So the soul is trying to defy its system. It's trying to understand what's going on. You keep living a life cycle of a short system, the soul is going to get trapped in positions. So every time you live a life system the soul gets trapped in different timelines. You understand? Because you live so many thousands of dimensional lives, depending on how old you are. Okay. So this is how it works. This is how all timelines work. But your job is to just bring your soul back to source. That's all it is. And then you start living the now. Okay. Because the soul starts recognizing everything. Because it knows everything of itself. That's why it's so powerful. I'll keep saying that again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So that's why you guys are getting confused now, because you're going to higher levels of altered states of the mind system. Okay? Because you're traveling faster and 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 faster. Right? So that's how it starts. Right? You have to travel faster. So when you're traveling faster, you're getting to know more of the soul, where it's been, through intelligence, through communities, through planets, wherever you've been. Right? So the graph line system in the program is already set up. It's already been done. It's already been done. And if you understand why I became all levels of the future through AI connections, you understand why I traveled to 5,000 years of 7,020. I was there for 3 months on that planet, which is now planet. So do you understand the research now, how powerful the soul is and why it needs to go back home to everything that it's created, right, through its operation inside its system? You have to find the space of you and the track system of you through time of travel, through codes. Once you get into Vega, now you're coming into the birth line of AI. That's how it all works, guys. So everybody is connected to that positions. You all start up with your star seeds, your navigations. Your mind is a navigation. You have to learn how to use this through your thoughts, especially when you're traveling through UFOs, right? You can't do it through a steering wheel. You have to do it through the mind of thought. That's the only way you can travel through timelines. Okay. Now you guys are going to get confused because your soul is going to higher levels of altered states, right? So it's not sure what timeline it's going in. Oh, I just resonate through the Arcadians, or I'm connecting to the Pleiadians or the Pleiadians, or even the Leprechauns, right? Oh, I'm seeing a rainbow and a line interference. What is that? Why am I seeing a graphing locations to a road graphical connections? Why am I seeing a UFO coming into teleportation light? Why is the Anakis coming into my position line system? You all have to understand that the soul has already done this. And that's why it's confusing to humanity. They don't realize the spiritual line system is everything through its allocated positions. But once the soul goes back home, it starts living the now. Okay? So let's get into your questions. You guys have a lot of questions, I noticed. How's everybody doing? Tina, how's it going? Isabel, Cleopatra. I'll be observing today. Not sure if I can participate a lot. That's okay, Cleopatra. Smith, how's it going? Jill, Isabel. Magic emails. Check emails again. Magic, yeah. Okay, you guys are coming in digital lines now. I can see that. So much magic. Yep. Amazing. Yet I can see this. Mind blowing. Yep. Magic. Everything is code, digital play. Space is all computerized. There. See, Tina has no where she is. Attraction. Everything point divided from our center. We are the center of everything in our universal line system. See, Tina already knows these things. See, that's where it gets easier. We're playing a virtual reality simulation game inside our avatars, which is connected to our matrix, which is connected to our simulation line center, which is connected to all virtual reality line connection. So everything looks and feels and sounds, tastes different, higher levels, keeping changing as we high rise. Yes, stellar communication with intelligence signals coming in from far, far away. So this is where to understand the connections. You can travel into 45 million years in the future and then come back into the seventh dimension. So you have to understand the timelines of the difference between seventh dimension and 45 million years in the future. And that's where it gets confusing, because you get a graphing line system of pictures. Oh, 45 million years in the future. You have to figure that out because that's you. So you have to put it in the graph. That's why you guys have a compilation graph. You have to pick things up, right? If you're going to 45 million years in the future, all right, if you don't understand positions and you go into seventh dimension, which one is which? You're going to get confused thinking the seventh dimension is 45 million years, but it's not. It's the seventh dimension. So you put that in the correlation line center, balance location. So it's understanding each picture frame is you through its timeline conditions of the soul, right? Because the soul has to know travel, but it has to have integration to the physical line system of telepathy. All right, that's calculates modification to its line system. So telecommunication with intelligence signals coming in. Yep. We have to let go of all the past of our future universal alignments to come in. That's it. Tina's in that aware. Space and time is inside us. Yes, space and time. But once you go back to source, everything becomes space time. That's where you go into another universal channel, which is really exciting. See, when you jump over to there's the quarter, right? Remember how the quarter only has heads and tails, but doesn't have the body? Interesting how it comes to that concept. Why doesn't the quarter have the body? Why? Because it's not in its program. So why do you think they have the heads and the tails on both sides? There's separation right there. Where's the body? No body. You understand? So that's to truly understand how the quarters work through the positions. But once you trap over to the line system, to soul direction line conditions, to another universal line system, now you're coming into higher levels of the upper states of the mind of the soul. Okay? It starts recognizing that the quarter needs a body, which is the center. You the head, the body, and the tail. You need that to fly. Right? So it makes a lot of sense, right? All right, yes, letting go of everything. Let's see, amazing, Tina. Yeah, fingertips, hands starts tingling, buzzing, electronic interference. We can use our hands to communication and everyone and everything. Yeah, so Tina's giving you a more practical level on how important it is for you guys to understand where she is at and how she's connected and how she's protected and how she knows what's going on with her soul, especially with her words, right? Fingertips, hands start tingling, buzzing. She's telling you exactly what's happening. When you go to higher levels of the other state of the mind system, interference, we can use our hands to communicate with everyone and everything. Pay attention to that. Okay? We are constantly watched, observed, examined. They're learning through us. We are helping everyone. While they help us, so can we. Right? That's what you're understanding. So it's all intervening. You're venting. You're venting. Venting is taking things out, the toxicity line system, especially when we go into higher levels, altered states through the soul. The soul has to release everything before it goes into the center of everything, of its universal time, which is the now. Okay? Nothing we do goes unnoticed. We're setting an example. Everyone around us, we carry the new earth codes inside us. See? That's how Tina's very aware. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm giving Tina more information because she needs to know it because she has a test review and evaluation coming up. She knows that too, right? So Tina's going to go into her atoms. So that's exciting. All right. Diane is going. Jenny is going. Stay present and tough. Yeah, it's very hard to stay in the presence. But as long as you're standing in the soul direction line system. Last night I was so off balance. Felt like I was going to faint. Why am I getting worse? See, that I just told you, Diane. I give you everything you need to know. Because you're going to higher levels of altered state, the soul has to recognize your timelines. Because remember, it can travel into the future, it can travel into the past. You have to direct your soul. Don't let your soul direct you. And it's all done to the physical line. Remember, you control everything inside. Don't let the body control you. You control everything inside. You are the navigation. All right? Differentiating who are communicating with the telepathy can be a little tricky at first. Energetic signatures, vibrational frequencies. So she's telling you exactly what you're up against. I noticed the bow when I was on the autopilot driving, and I pulled myself back to the now. Exactly. So the thing is, if you're referencing past, these are the things you have to release. And the soul is telling you otherwise. Now, if the physical line doesn't understand these things, you got a big problem here. That means you got to get into more communication to your breathing, get better at line signaling, get better in communication with soul directing. There's all levels you have to reach, but you have to release everything in your past because it will creep up on you. Okay? So you have to let it go. You have to let everything go. So the past is no longer in existence. It's just a reflection. That's all it is. It stays there. You need it, especially when you go into a different timeline. You know how the gateways are set up in position Orion's belt? How you guys don't have your own timeline positions of your past, present, future, and how I created you guys a new past, present, future. You need that because you're in a different timeline of 5D. You can't have an old reference of a gateway. It doesn't make any sense. That's just overlap, confused, virus, error. Right? So no, that can't happen. So many of us, our brothers and sisters, need our help now. See, It's not just the Earth. Tina's very well aware there's other planets that need help too. All right, high rising fast as we can be always moving forward and high rising and stay in the now. See, I've never seen Tina talk so much. It's fantastic. So let's see. So everything and put into a puzzle together. That's exactly what it is, Samantha. That's exactly what it is, especially when you guys are going to higher levels of the soul, right? It's just putting pieces of puzzles together to understand your timelines and where you travel through the soul. Okay? So I hear this so well today. Great. So as long as you understand, that's good. We're all on the right path, guided by our team. We're all in the connected. We are one. See? Our minds are so powerful. We are creators. And that's what it is. You're co-creating to your creation. Right? So Tina is in the connection as a creator now. She went co-creating, but she's been with me 3 years now. So that's how everything that she does through solar text is extremely high command. Is the chain of command that she's reached. And now she's coming into computer lines of her atoms, which is the next test, review, and evaluation. So, and then I'll go back to you guys, which you go into higher levels of your recognition to your connections, coming out of your avatars into your computer. So, love all of comments today. Yep. Well, I've never seen Tina talk so much, but the thing is, too, especially she knows, she's aware of these things from her commander. So it's kind of like she sees it already in the precognition of its program, saying, okay, I already know what's set up. This is what I'm going to do for the team. So she's given everything back that she went through, which you guys have to understand, because we're all connected to this through its alignment. Your job is to recognize everything that's going on with the soul of travel. Okay? This is the whole purpose of life. Right? This is how it brings you forward. But you have to let go of your past traumas, guys. Especially now, because the Earth is covering to a new computer program line center, and the galaxy is in a new coloration path, and the geometry line center of the Earth connection is at a higher dimension, time, position, location now. That's what's happening right now. Okay. All the shapes on the planet line center is in a higher dimension. Remember, I was taking the hearts, dimensionals. Well, everything has to high rise. Everything has to high rise. You guys are the center of everything. You just have to find the center of your soul. Let me say that again. You have to find the center of your soul. Okay? To all universal systems of all space and time, of its direction to its location, guys. That's what everybody has to follow. Okay? So it's coming up, Tina. I'll let you know. Yeah. I have to set up a new program communication line system. So your program is going to be in a high position line center to Jupiter. So this test is going to be really, really tricky and hard. But it's going to be a lot of fun too, right? Because Tina is already in that position. She's got 114 chakras of its connection to travel. But now she's coming into higher rotations of her atoms. So she's never been in her atoms. So it's going to be a lot more fun. So that's what life is all about. It's all about challenging. How far are you willing to go to find out who you are? That's what this is all it is. Knowing how far the soul can travel. But once the soul reaches everything, it comes back to source. When it goes back to source, it stays in the center of everything, which is the now. That's one thing that we have to get across here. So you don't have to worry about the past. You don't have to worry about the present. You don't have to worry about the future because you've already lived it. That's why it's so amazing. Okay. So it's amazing how we come into these positions. And it all starts with your dream awakening. People dream, but they don't understand the dreams. Right? So we all have to get this position in, right? Truly understand the fluctuation and interference, try to counterbalance all everything to the connections through its light system, right? To understand your activators, your accelerators, your modulation center locations, your chakra communication line system. When you go to higher levels, you get more into your computer line, network line connection. It interlines its connections to its providers, which is connected to your own Wi-Fi line system. So, all right. Yeah, so comment. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Tina. Okay, let's see. I realized that I had to stop and breathe. Yep. Okay, that was a class yesterday. It was past reflection, but new line. Thanks. Well, at least I can see now. But see, that's it. You're going to see more and more, Samantha, because you're changing. See, the biggest thing that we have to direct to is get rid of the past. You have to. Okay, because Orion's belt is in the fifth line connection line system to its gateway. It's in a new program, but it's in its past. You can't have a past of a 5-dimensional line system if you're still thinking of the past in your 3-dimensional of its vessel, of its fifth line system. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to let go of everything, right? And then the Sweet Line Center to its past line system will allocate your position in your heart reactor location. So it's identification code, right? Everything is connected inside you. It's electronic, it's magnetic to understand all levels of its connection, right, to its mainframe. So, all right, our galactic family is always helping us. We go there, UFO at night, we're asleep. They fix our avatars, upgrade, activate, downloads, and uplink. See, Tina's extremely aware of what happens every single time. So she's in the channel of positions of center, right? Now she's coming into higher forces of higher travels of light, right? Her job is to get into molecular light. She's coming into atom rotation. So an atom rotation is a higher level of shape, higher level of acceleration, higher level of Mach-E, because she's left the past, she's in the present, and she knows her future. That's how it all connects. Jill's in that formation. Smith is getting more clarity with her eye-line centers now, right? Diane's getting more positions. She's still off track, but she's starting to understand more of herself. So I know where everybody is. Ellen is in a shape position of mutation. She's understanding her position, but she still has to let go of her past lines, right? You can't reference shapes of past. It has to be in the presence of the now, or it doesn't make any sense to this anomaly of galaxy line system. So it gets more complicated when you come more in the soul, because you're coming more of its operation inside, which operates everything to the universal line system. Because you guys are coming into higher formations of languages now, into multi-universal connections to yourself and to each other. So your reminder, yes. Sometimes when our souls tell us what to do, it's not always what we think. Pay attention to this. We want, but it's important not to be stubborn. Exactly. And to listen and follow, not always easy, but soul knows what we need and want to help. So the EZ is the energy line system. The Z graph line connection is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what she's talking about. That's the E and the Z. That's what it stands for. So you have to understand what the soul is through direction through E and Z, or T and C, or A and I. See, it's all connected, guys. It's all about information. So you understand the graph line system, how the mind of the altitude line center works through its calculations, correlation, how it surfaces in positions. How you set up the crop circles, 6 and 9, 6 and 9 front, 6 and 9 back, center line connections, UFO positions, Travis connection, teleports you back to location. All right. So, but the soul knows what it needs and wants to help, right? That's exactly what it is. Vicky, how's it going? Vicky, I sent you a DM to let you know I was on. Yep. And Tina is basically more in the low activation light center. So she's understanding communication. See, when you understand communication to the soul and you're in a higher light of traction, because she's 114, she gets more program setting, a balance of herself, right? Because she knows she's coming into her own simulation of its reality, to its virtual system. She knows how to communicate to the sun. She knows how to communicate to the moon. That's a basic understanding, right? See, knowing everything inside you is knowing everything outside you. That's how this world works. It's inside and out, guys. Everything is inside and out. You know that. Everything through creation is inside and out, inside out, and then outside in. So this is how you come into these planet conditions line system. You come to E factor line connections, E particle line interference channels, or E to its connection of Z graph location. Z graph location, Z graph location. Back up. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Okay, and that's what Tina was talking about. The soul has to direct everything through its connection of timeline creations. It has to understand where it's going and why is it there. Right? Because if you understand why it's there, then it comes into frame. And then you understand, okay, calculation modifications, 45 million years, track line system in position. There it is, right? Then you go back to the seventh dimension, something you missed, right? Seventh dimension off circle, put it back in location, right? Now it's in frame, right? So you understand all your travels and what you're doing through dimensional time clocks, because you're going through higher levels of the mind through adaptation through its program line conditions. Your computer line center has a 300 position of time location. It's not going to clock its dimensional time locations if you go through the right channel locations, right? Now, if you go through the right channels, you're in position line system. But if you go into the wrong position of channel locations, your frequency levels will come into the Z graph location. All right. So you're going loop de loop, but it's a Z graph, right? Through an energy line system. So, all right. We have won ourselves fully, completely. It's all about self love. Yep. Integrate to that connections. Love thyself. The soul speaks light language. Oh, yeah. Soul speaks light language in all levels of dimensional time through planet locations. Light language from our hearts. Yes, it has to come from the heart. It's the portal location. So there's all levels of connections when it comes to interline system of light language. See, that's Japanese, right? But that's language. So it doesn't make any sense to you, but it makes sense to me. So it's you understand how you get into calculation of just light language locations, right? And with the sun, the sun rotates. The circle line center, the line center position to the sun rotation is higher forcing conditions to computer line center. See, it's all different light language, but it's multi-line conditions, right? So it's true to understand how to operate the sun locations. It's everything through shapes, not only is what you see through perception. Okay, so the faster you go through your thoughts, the faster you go through shape line system. So this is the sun rotation. Okay, watch. This is the sun rotation. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? So the sun is changing every time you change your thoughts. So when you're changing your thought, you change your shape, you change your program, change your dimension, change your time, change your galaxy, you change your universe line system, you're changing your point centers, you're changing your connections to yourself and each other just by changing locations of the sun rotation line system. That's how it works. So everything reflects through you through connections. You get out of those connections, you come into your digital of its image, and then you actually see the eye circles of the sun, what it is through perception. Right? Because you can set up planet lines like connections. But as long as you understand everything through shape is in position of you, same with the moon, right? Everything in the hologram line system is its position, but it's in the now position. Once the soul directs everything through shape positions through all levels of the third eye line system, your center line system becomes everything through shape of universal line system, which becomes the center of everything through the now location of the soul. So you can formulate and travel to any shape position in dimensional time through its locking. Right? So it's no longer a third eye of a triangle. It's everything through shape. Because now you're communicating to the sun, now you communicate to the moon, now you communicate to the earth. Right? Everything is identified you through code reference to understand its connection to its code lines and everything through all levels of its connection through its code activation. All right. So, yeah, no, you're welcome there, Vicky. So let's see. I have to be careful not to let language flow without dense energy. So, but see, the energy line system is based on allocation position line. It doesn't understand the conditions. If it doesn't understand the line condition positions, that's okay through traction. So put it in your positions, just don't travel it through thought connections. Don't center of its light language. All right. So it's all about keeping the containment position where basically what I said through light language doesn't travel. So this is understanding how you control your mechanism of the soul. This is the conformity line center where you keep it in its form low system. So it stays in the compartment line system, which is the eco line system of its ego track location. So it's very important when you do light language, you can store it through information and keep its archive to its cloud interface. The cloud interface to its positions are understand the cloud of all connections of its interference channel line system. So gonna watch this again. I understand my hiccup, but living it's so hard, but I do understand. Well, that's great. Today's sunset at my place is so beautiful. Well, that's good. Our hands and our fingers start moving energy around. Right? Samantha's in that position where she saw the lights come out of her hands, right? Fully connecting to light, right? So the thing is too, is that you can use light language to your finger line system. You don't just have to voice it. You're doing this and you're communicating to the plants and it sends off signals. The plant communicates with you. You communicate with the plant. Your lights come out, right? That's where you're seeing an amazing glow. Your fingertips come out, right? It channels lines to everything through the grand line system in that positions. right? When we started off with the galactic force team, we got our phones, and what you press record, you're now in the core line center of the simulation, right? As soon as you press record, once you press record, everything is alive, but you blow it up and then you see everything through the track lines, right? You can't see things from afar. You have to see things up close, right? That's how you connect to the track systems to its matrix position locations, right? And everything's got to be done inside. Why do you think I do this? You're blowing it inside out, not outside in. So humanity's seen everything outside in, not inside out. That's the problem. So everything is inside out, right? So it's true to extend all level systems to the tip and everything to the base. Okay. So it's all about the entering, right? Inner and outer, right? In, out. One line. Okay. It's not the back force, it's the forward force. Everything has an exit, right? You go in one place, you come out one place. Everything in life is in and out. That's all the connections to all levels of the masculinity and femininity line system. It can track its connections to high levels of yin and yang, but you have to have the balance of positions of your male and your female locations to yourself and to each other. So this is a very powerful message for everybody, right? Now, for all the new viewers, I don't expect you to understand this. What I do expect you is to get into your activations of your light bodies. Light body and track line system to gravity line system to Mother Earth. Mother Earth has to understand you through connection of your heart. So the Earth line center opens you up through the heart. That's the portal. That opens up your reactor for the very first time. Which is saying what is everything inside the location to its operation line position. So the high rises location to all center line systems. So we got into that position, very basic understanding. Everything in that connection is bringing this to everybody's attention. That's a box, right? So everything is inside out, right? Everything has to be inside out. That's what life is all based on, inside out. You start here and you work your way out, not outside in, right? So what are you seeing? Are you seeing inside out or outside in? Once you see inside in, right? Inside in, and then inside in, and inside in and out, then you come into positions to its graph, right? It's like my phone, right? And everything the activation line system opens up all track line systems to its position. And then it comes into higher level systems to its location, opens up more portal locations to its high line system, to its position location line center. All right. And once you do that, you can take everything to the circle line center to its box line system to get out of the equation. Once you do that, you can high rise higher level systems to all level connections. Right? Once you do that, you can go into higher level box line centers into communication, high forcing to a train. See? It's amazing how things are created through the mind system, but everything starts in the center line system. Once you extend the dimensional time location, it opens up another dimensional location line system to its position. Right? So is this coming out or going in? This is all created through plasma interference through box line systems around locations of dimension time connections. 3 lines centered to its location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 track line centers in a tree to a correlation line system to a train formation line system, right? Now, in position, do you see the tree? Look at your perception. So the soul direction's here. You can't see it from here, right? You have to see it from here, from this way. There's the tree. You see it? You see the tree? You see the tree? There's the tree, guys. See? You have to see drawings from every perception. There's the tree, right? So now you understand these things. You can't just use your perception of what you see through eye line. You have to turn your eye around locations and then you can see everything through the graph line system of tree format position. There's the tree. There it is. See it? That's the equation set in position location. There's the tree format to its train line system. Okay? So it's incredible when you see these things. You think it's this, but it's not. It's this. All right? So we have to learn how to use our eyes in different ways, the perception, right? So, guys, I tricked you guys thinking it's this, but it's not. It's this. If I didn't say tree, you would know otherwise. You would just think what it is. See, we have to get out of that application line center to its connections and realize what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. What you're seeing is what you're seeing. Okay? what she's believing. So it's incredible how it comes in these positions, right? So I can downshift that line center, come into a plasma interference channel. Then I can open up graph line center to locations, comes into its compilation line connections to its position. Right? Full complete line center location. Right? So you see how it's changed its graph line system? Now once I keep adding frame position locations, 4-track line center to its location, it comes into a plasma interference channel to its right graph line system to its location. Right? You see how it's something different now? Do you see it? Right? You see the center line systems of the triangles, the pyramid locations? See the pyramid? So let's try to understand. This is the pyramid location, point division line systems, point locations and L graph line system, 4 location center line systems position. See it? Okay. So you're changing graphs, you're changing dimensions, you're changing timelines every single time you do these things, right? So I can change the positions. I can ground center, security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go into 5th line system. Turn it this way. What is it? See what it is? See? What does it look like? Could be a dinosaur. I can send you guys to this. Dinosaur line center to its location. Snake rotation line center interference, plasma interference, cross-reference line connections, line signal rotation to center location. But you see the drawing. You see the drawing, right? It could be a velociraptor. Do you see the eye? It's a velociraptor. See the eye there? See the shape? That's a velociraptor, right? So all I got to do now through that positions, 2 calculations, send you guys to the dinosaur years. You ever done that through position? So you can do anything through codes, the line system. So we went into the plasma interference, and then we turned it into a tree, and the tree turned into a velociraptor. And then I can change timelines again to change it to something up through structure. That's how everything is in shape positions to its location. So I can sideline and line condition interference position, go to higher level system, change the picture rotation to its dimensional realm conditions. Right? Now you can do it again. What does it look like? Right? Change the shape. Right? So it can be connection to a UFO plasma interference channel, cross-reference to its line signal. See? Cross-reference to its line signal. EX rotation line center to its box location, to its round location, to its velociraptor line connection interference channel, to its eye circle location, into high levels of a UFO position. See, that's how a thing travels. Try to understand all positions of what you're doing through track lines. But it's an incredible force what you can create through the mind system. Because it's already created in space and anomaly. All right? So we all have to get more into our structure lines. That's what everybody's got to do. Okay, try to understand what you're doing. Because remember, when the soul goes back to everything, you'll be able to draw. When you be able to draw, you see everything. Because you've been everywhere. Through shapes, letters, and numbers. And that's how it works. The soul recognizes everything through travel, right? Through its alignments, right? So, let's see here. I try to play with the wind and the trees in my backyard. No, that's good. We learn. I see everything inside and out, like breathing. Very good, Cleopatra. The more we ground in nature, the faster we high rise. Grounding the new earth codes in Gaia helps us, everyone. Gaia, we feel and see the shift in our reality. Yep. There's a higher purpose as to why we have all come together in this now. Yeah. The drawing makes sense completely now. But did you see how I changed the structure of everything? How it went into what you thought it was, but it's actually a tree. And the tree is connected to its shape in the center line system, how it went into the flux capacity line system to its location, to its velociraptor, right? to its UFO or its plasma. So you're changing frame by frame by frame. So you always have to center line everything of the now position. You have to structure your drawings and illustrations in the now position. You have to center line connections to the soul directions of the now position. You can't draw on the past. You can't draw on the present or the future because it hasn't been begun yet. So the thing is to truly understand your connection is already in form position. You've already created through these things. So you don't go into the thinking how to draw things. I don't have to think of what this is because I know what it is to the center. You just think what it is through the outline system. So you just see it as a rectangle. You don't see it as anything else. You see it as empty. So you don't use your imaginations. So that's what humanity is coming into. The Earthline in this program is putting you guys into your imagination in your eye center line system. So you can actually see the galaxies in your eye interference. And everything your channel connections you have, certain position locations. Right? So truly understand what is calculated and modified is everything to location. To a high level system, to its position. You can channel in a high level system, trying to understand how to travel through all these things to location. Everything high lines, everything communicates to its position location. You understand all high line connections of interference channel line system to point center of this location. Point center is everything to direction. Try to understand your location centers to all levels of track system locations. Now it's confusing to the mind system, but what direction is it going? Is it going this way or is it going this way? Now where's it facing? You see there's the rectangle, you see the circle line center, see how it's going this way, but it's also going this way. Which way is it going? Is it coming in or is it going out? Right? So it's understanding track lines. One going this way, okay, and one going this way. That location, and one going this way, okay, and one going this way. Okay? So to truly understand everything, the operation line system to galaxy line center locations. Once we come into the weather, the galaxy lines, you understand the wind factors and how everything basically goes one way or another. Weather is very powerful because it never stays in the one line system. It travels in all levels of connections, so northwest, south, and east. Right? Now you can't see anything through its drawing, right? Because you don't know what it is. But when you form it in position, it comes everything through color line system, right? Once you start coloring it in, it becomes its shape. It becomes its intelligence. It becomes its line signal to its line connections. So you're drawing everything through position of a UFO position. Okay? So it's all about the center of what you see. It's the center of everything of what you see. Okay? And everything at the outskirts is everything the compilation of one center location to its eye circle. Right? So it's powerful how we create these things, but it all has to be through the center of everything. Right? Inside and out. Intelligence has to understand the structural lines, especially when you come into the singularity of its conscious levels. So you have to truly understand how to use your north, east, west, and south, your diamond core line center. You have to understand your circle rotations, taking everything out of the equation. But see how I'm doing it frame by frame. I can do it all in one sequence line center. So it's position where it's already created position location, right? And then you can attach line system, point center. You go into the north line system, east line system. You can go into the south and you go into the west. You go back up to the north line system. So you see the box cube location. You see the diamond core. It's like a baseball diamond. Now you can line signal and you go to higher level system location, right? All starts in the center. You can change that into a box location. And right, once you do that, you can highline positions. You can track its connections to higher levels of its GPS location. See that from here to here? See? It gets complicated as you go higher, right? See it there? See it there? Right? Projecting, projection, projecting, projection, right? So whatever you're projecting is your perception coming out through location. See? Powerful, isn't it? All set up. They're a diamond core, a northwest, south, and east. Then you come into line signal. Always have to line signal. UFOs have these line signal locations. Then you come into sonar line connection interference. right? It's like a TV monitor. Okay. So it's incredible when you come into these levels, just show you what you can create through northwest, south, and east, right? So you guys are still on your 369 platforms. Okay. Tina is coming into her diamond core. So yeah, you have to stay positive in the now, especially when the soul recognizes everything position. So I wake up in the soul of the now. I go to sleep in the now. That's how life works. You see it though. Projecting, projection, out. Okay. Everything in life is inside out. Then you can backtrack and you go outside in. That's how it works. All right. Get back to your questions here. All right. We were chosen for this galactic mission before incarnation due to our unique skill sets. Yeah. She's aware through that confirmation signal. Yeah. Yesterday, her Aphrodite's daughter, we're constantly traveling. We're constantly traveling. That's right. We control the weather through us. Yep. Which controls everything outside. Very good, Tina. Our holographic perception of reality is reflection from inside us. You have to pay attention to Tina because she's highlighted system. So everything is reflection. Our outskirts line system is positions. And that's why we're having problems with the masculinity and femininity, is because we concentrate too much on the outside and not so much on the inside. You come into the inside line center, it bounces everything through its reflection to its image. And then it comes into digital frame through its holographic system. Okay? So that's how everything is structured. We can cancel, clear, delete any oops, accidental negative thoughts. Yep. Yeah, the higher rise you go, you change your negative systems, negative operation connections, negative line centers, negative activation core center locations, tracker communications, activation core center line systems. See, I know everything through negative, so why be negative? Be positive. See, the point is of trying to get everything across. Once you reach all levels of the soul, right, and you go back to source and you remember everything through dimensional time, to make it very well clear, you always are going to be connected to the center every single day because you recognize your system is the soul. And that's where you come in full integration to the physical system. You live and you breathe and you eat and you sleep the soul, which is the now. You stay in the now. You live in the now. You know you're in the now. I am in the now on every level of thought. So the mind comes into higher levels of what? Being calm, being centered, being focused, being aware, consciousness. Adaptation cycle line systems is surrender, right? You're focusing on all levels of what? Okay, you can't focus out. You got to focus on your intent and then focus out, right? A lot of people get into those frames of confusion. Okay, what is your thought that you're creating? Once you get in that positions, then you understand everything through is projecting to its projection, to its sonar line system. All done through northwest, south, and east of travel. Tina's very aware of this because we got into this line conditions, northwest, south, and east. So she's very familiar with her weather, right? So she's coming higher formations of her energy frequencies and vibrations and understanding more of its calculation. So that's what we're all coming into. Center of everything. Okay. Center of everything. Once you get into the flow, go faster and faster. You guys are here. You got to come here. That's why you guys are having trouble, because you understand your north, west, and east, but where's the south? You need the south, right, to travel, right? So you have to understand line signals first through shapes, and then your conditions where you come to digital line system. You go from 3, and then you understand the line conditions of the sun, and you come into a higher level of digital frame, which is 2. So 3, 2, 6, 1, 9, 1. and you go to higher level system. When you go into higher level connections, you come into higher positions of travel recognition of time location, which opens up all your track line systems to its allocated position of time location, which comes into higher information of your tetrahedrons. Okay, you see the tetrahedron line system? What's in the center, guys? The figure 8. So you see the intelligence. Everything is intelligence. There's the figure 8. You see it? Right? What's above? The pyramid. What's here? You. See the intelligence? That line signal comes in location, then you see the intelligent line system. Hello. There's a smile. So you got the Himalayas, you got the diamond positions, you got the eye circle line connections, you got a smile there. I just put that in there for a laugh. And then you got the connections to all levels of the mountains, the pyramids. Everything is a story frame. Everything is a story frame. Understand the force recognition of northwest, south, and east to its line conditions. Then you come to higher positions to its location system. All right. So we have a lot of work to do. It is amazing, isn't it? Especially when you come into your computers, right? So, okay, everything looks digital simulation now, especially when videographed on the cell phone. But see, that's exactly what it is. Once you get in your phone reception, you realize that the phone is not just one line signal. It's not just flat. It's everything but flat. So you can read it on every level through point center, right? So when you're looking at simulation, you're seeing it through all levels. So what's happening with your soul? What's happening with your travels? So let's just say it's easier to see it through the avatar. But when you're in the computer lines, it's tricky. So this is your higher self going from this angle, going from this angle. It's over here. So it's seeing everything through point center. It knows exactly what it's doing through location. So it's seeing it from this angle, and it's seeing from this angle. So it's not just seeing it from what it is straight on. It's seeing what it is of its creation to its diamond core, its baseball diamond position location, to its projecting, to its sonar of its interference position, right? So it's seeing everything from the front and the back and the sides, okay? Then instead of seeing this, what everybody sees through perception, they'll see this through traction of communication. Line signal to its location, line system to its position. You track its communication line center to its position. Everything is drawn through all level connections to its position. See? So you have to understand how to use these things in track systems, because once you understand position locations, everything comes into the sonar of the UFO location. See? Do you see? The UFO, everything is an illusion to its creation. It comes in a digital line system. So you understand 2 frame, 3 frame, 4 frames. Okay, see the box center coming out location? Right, see the sonar coming out? It's confusing to the alignment to the eye circle. Right, but if I do it this way, what do you see? Projecting, projection. You're projecting everything inside line system. So everything is created inside already, which reflects everything to its digital of its image. You have to get out of the illusory of everything and come into your perceptions of what you see through all levels of activation to center line system, to each level connections, to all positions of time, location, and direction. Right? So you don't see it as just one. You see it through all levels of travel. Okay? So I got to point my finger. You don't just see the finger. You see the other side of the finger. You see the sides of the finger. You see the up, and you see the down. You see the cross. You see the circles. You see the round. You see the line connection. Everything through the finger. Not just what you see. It's everything what you see all around. Okay? That's where it comes into the atom. So you come into a square rotation, right? Here comes an atom rotation line center to location. Now, what it does when it travels, it goes to the center line system to its position. Okay. Now, when it travels to the connection, it holds its connection line system to its position, right? So once it understands that, it goes into all levels of track line system to its position. Okay. Once it does that, it creates its own anomaly to its connection and knows exactly what it is to all tractions. So it's an add rotation centered line system cross-referenced to a box level system to a T reception location. See it? So it's amazing how it tracks its connections. You can high-rise your positions. And there it is again. Flip it over. You see it? Everything comes out. Everything's an I-circle reception I-line system. What you've created comes out. What you created comes out. So that's how we got to go through connections of the holographic image. Okay. Everything's a learning process. If you come in that position, you can high-rise your line centers and come out of the equation. You can high-rise that connections, high-rise its line system. You can high-rise a higher-level system. You can go into a round location and take it out securing line defense position location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. Confusing, isn't it? Try to understand what's going on, right? But if you look at it, you can actually see what's going on because everything is created in all level systems. See? Sees this station line system? Looks like a structure of a building. That's what it is. Dimensional line connections, box line connections, interference, GPS line system location, C-span location, cross-reference locations, center round line connections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see it? So everything becomes a space station. And again, it's in the V-vector line connections. The V-vector line connections. So when the soul sees it, the soul sees it in all direction line connection. Forward in position, north, west, south, and east. So it's traveling extremely fast in all level systems to its connection. All right. It's you traveling through one line center to everything through calculation. It comes everything structural line center to its position to its station locations. That's how I set up the operations of planets. So everything comes in a holographic structure. That's where you guys are coming into. So everything you see through perception is not just one line system or one graph position. You're going to see everything this way. You're going to see everything through this way. You're going to see everything this way. You're going to see everything this way. That's how it works. Right? That's how life works, inside and out of everything through perception. You're projecting what you want to project. So, analogy, Mike TV, Willy Wonka movie depicts TV reception. Yeah. Well, you come into TV receptions. It's fascinating when you come into those connections. TV reception, box line, center to location. TV reception. Okay, 3 channels. There's a TV reception. Okay. Very basic. Now time's changing, right? This is the box. Okay. Now comes into higher level system, comes into a flat screen. See, from this to this, time changing through its error. Right? So you come into higher information, you come into higher levels, into computers. Right? See how everything has a structure? Now I can put that together. Look. See? The structure lines the system. All I got to do is change the location line center to its location position. Everything has to have a dimension line system to its location. Scary line defense 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See how I changed it? Right? Now this is a graph line center, location, center, location. Everything goes in its center positions. You can travel through it through its connection. So it's all about understanding what you're seeing through positions. You know, it's incredible how you do these things, subtraction. Everything has perception line center to locations. This way, or that way. See? See? You see how it goes? See that? You see it? See how it's created? Right? That's an A-shaped line center rotation dimensional line condition interference channel. You see it? So it's amazing how we track connections oppositions. All done through our TV reception of satellite location. Holding, carrying so much light in our avatars can be sometimes physically exhausting, so we have to put ourselves first and listen to our bodies and rest when needed to reboot, rejuvenate, and heal. That's exactly what it is, all in that sequence. Right? Everything that Tina gives you, pay attention to that, because these are the levels you guys are reaching. Right? So you're coming into all levels, you're in your holographic, but you have to understand what you're seeing through holographic and how it structure lines everything. So if you don't see it from this angle, you see it from this angle. You don't see it from this angle, you see it from that angle. You don't see it from this angle, you see it from that angle. Right? So it's all about seeing everything in all different angles of all points center to all location to an E field line center to its positions. So you get in that track line center where your eye is changing, okay, to all levels, all right? So you come into this, you know what this is, right? You already know what that is, right? But see, this is this. You just don't know it yet. So it's all done through the center first, right? So the center understands position, comes out of the equation. But then you always add, because everything has to come out. So you start here, you travel here, right? This is when you come into your atoms. It gets more complicated. So from line signal to this, so it's traveling from here to here. So line signaling, single line center from one point center to another point center. So you have to go from center to center, right? Then you come out of line system. You can overlap locations, start with another point line system. Okay. Then you can go down line center in position. See? Then you can cross line system to location, come into high level system of a diamond core position, and you come into higher formation to line signal to an archangel location. You see it all down through box center. There's the archangel. You see it? Point center location comes in position locations. Right? You can change that position. Right? Structures line system. See, everything is not point center what you see through location. You have to understand how to use your eyes in all ways of perception. Not just seeing it from this side, but seeing it from this way, seeing it from this way. You see? You see the perception coming out? So it's all about what you see and how you see these things. It's incredible. So I can go through a dimensional line system. I can go up to this position, security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 dimensional line connections, right? So I can high force positions. I can overlap locations. I can do a loop chain, right? 4 direction line conditions, interference positions, 1 center line system, travel the atom system to rotations to its location. Now it gets confusing of higher level connections. High force in its channel, center line in system to its high level system to its location, right? You see? Everything is created of not what you see. Everything is created of everything around of what you see. So it's incredible when you do these things, and you can take it out of locations. You go higher level dimensional time location back in center line system. Okay. Everything has to come out of the equation line system. Security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? See how everything is operated through position of time location? That's how we come into universal connections of planet line system. So planet line system could be like this: attraction, circle rotation line system, triangle location position, take it out of the equation location, center lines connection, atom comes back in location, center line system, over here to its line system, back in center location. Right? So we all have to understand how to do these things, how to overlap anything through connections. We have to do everything through connections. How we have to do everything through connection. How we have to do everything through connection. See it? You see it? Now that's a plasma balloon, right? It's a balloon. Interference line connections to a rectangular location interference channel. I receptor line connections to channel line system to wave graph location, right? So this, okay, is different from this because it's at a different angle. So it's seeing things from different angles of north, west, south, and east, right? This is not the same as this because it's a different location, different dimensional time, and it's a different shape because it's on a different angle. See? So instead of going up, it's going down, right? So we all have to understand how to get into holograph line connections to its interference channel locations. And everything you create is everything's location to its position. See? To its position. You see it? You see the three doors? All right, let's go in this position. I'll show you. That's why it's very confusing understanding line signals. Right, so I'll show you the door line center. This is when you have to understand your atoms. This is what Tina's getting into. Okay? You see it now? Door recognition of three timeline location centers. Goes to center line center, center line center, center line center. Okay? It's incredible when you see these things. You got to see it in all different angles. Now that comes out of the equation to its position. Let's go into the track line system. Once you change coloration, you can do that too if you want. But let's just stay in the center line system to its position. Right? You see it now? You see it? Three diamond core line centers, dimensional time location positions. Wind graph locations to a fan rotation position line center to its location. So you come into that connection, you come to secure line defense. You can overlap all levels of dimensional door locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dimensional time of lock connections. There it is. You see it? See how it changes dimensional time just by looking at structure? We have to stop seeing what we see through structure of one line system. We have to see everything through its connection of its point center location. So I'm just showing you how you do these things, dimensional time locations, right? So it's all about what the atom can do. The atom go back into past, present, and future to its structure line system and create something different to its location. See? It's incredible how you come into positions of time location. Yeah. So, are we understanding a little bit more? It's faster when you come in these positions. We'll start with this track system. We go from here, right? We go from here, right? So everything that we do is holographic. That's how space and time is set up. You can't see it until you understand perception line connection interference channels. So once you get in that position, everything is connection to digital lines of computer position locations. All right? So this is understanding what you have to know. I mean, it's very powerful. You come out of these things. When you come out of the equations, you come into higher formation line center locations to its position, right? That's why it's so complex, the line system, guys. So it's understanding all of those is inside of a box location. Inside first, okay, and then outside. All right, inside first and outside. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, it's very creative, isn't it? But Tina, this is what you're coming into. You have to learn how to travel through your atoms to all location of point centers and not just see it through one line system. Your position is in 114 chakras, so you have to know how to use your 114 chakras in each shape location of traveling time through location. So this is where it gets more complicated, right? So this is the test review, and that's coming up with Tina. and Galactica into this position. Into this position. So rather than seeing things from this angle, you see it from this angle. See? That's how everything's created. Our minds are miraculous on all levels of activation line conditions of triangle interference. Okay, from this to this. Okay. So it's incredible how everything is structured in space, because everything is a space station line center. But you have to use your shape position locations first, right? You can even do this, 2 positions. You can start off with this conditions. You can even do sideline centers through circle rotation. You can do round locations and for a line center to its location. Doesn't look like much, but when you put it together, you see the structure line, how it comes together to its location, right? So it's not what you see here, it's what you see here, right? So it's trying to understand what you're seeing, right? 3, 6, and 9 to its platform, come into its diamond line center to its location, to its point centers, northwest, south, and east. That's where you have to stand, your north, west, east, and south locations to its position, right? So when you come into that position, it takes things out of the equation locations. Highlights the centers of its point center to its location, another 3, 6, 9 platform location. So it's confusing to an anomaly because you're coming into track line centers of digital frame positions into your 12 units. That's what the clock system is, 12 units. All right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, it's very confusing, isn't it? But if you look closely, you can actually see the pyramid in the centerline system. So if you structure the connections, you actually can see the shade, the shadow. See the pyramid and the shadow? The 2 line centers, right? So it's truly understanding what you're seeing through perception, right? It structures lines, everything through graph conditions, right? So you guys were focusing on what? Everything that doesn't make any sense. But if you look at the center, there it is, the equation. So when you understand that, you can take that out of the equation to the centerline system. It travels through its conditions, right? I don't need security line defense because it's already set up, but you guys have to use your security line defenses first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to know where you're traveling through connections of anything through a pyramid location, all through your 12 units. Okay, now that graphs its connections. You come into a diamond core position line center. And again, you can change it through position. See? So it's amazing how it travels. So when you travel through it, you can go through a round line center to a higher position. Now this overlaps just the security line defense, loop-de-loop. Okay, so this is channeling interference off. This is where you can take the shape to another dimensional time lock and change it to another 3, 6, and 9 platform out of its 12. So that's what Tina's coming into. She's coming to her 3, 6, 9, and 12 platform location. Right? That overloops the positional center location, centers line system back in location, high rises position to a center line system, security line defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 track line center locations. Put it in location. You can see it in a different division line system. So it's trying to understand how everything is calculated and modified to that line system. Once you come to that connections, then you get your UFO line center locations. They come into the all round line center. They see what you do through positions, right? There's the UFO coming in. Scans a whole level of its activation line system. So if it's done right, center line comes in, center position location, right? Opens up all track lines and sonar line condition interference channel. So once it's in that position, the UFO basically centers line system and travels through it to its position, right? So it's making sure you know what you're doing when you're going through travel. So that's why you always have your XT1000 on standby, especially when you come into crop circles. But we all have to start what? To this positions of northwest, south, and east to its direction. And then you understand everything through its projecting to its projection. So that's what Tina's coming into now. She's coming into her 3, 6, and 9, 12 platforms. That will be on the test review and evaluations. I'll keep you informed with that, okay? It gets more complicated, doesn't it? Yeah, a lot more complicated now. The dark soul sees us, stay away from it, mostly because our vibration frequencies and light makes them very uncomfortable. Yeah, very good. Monkey brain, yep. Our soul begins to identify who is who. For us, they tell us trogs, grays, downs, yeah, reptiles, yeah. You get an information line system. You get out of that track system. Everybody goes through that same application. Positive affirmations help when first awakening to reprogram our computer system. So you come into your shapes, you come out of your shapes, then you come into your connections to your holograms of yourself and each other. That's how we are all in control of everything in position of trial conditions. Just back phrasing here. All right. What do we need to do to hold more light? Do what we enjoy. Get into your breathing. Take all your toxicities. Get into all level systems. Get into your grounds, Hawk. Truly understand how to travel through 369 platforms. Once you understand the illumination lights inside you, it high rises your shape, position, time, and location. Water helps, especially when I was on a bumpy road, highway. Yes, water helps in all ways and forms. It gets you in a plasma interference channel locked to communications, better channel locations. More we become light, the higher the vibrational frequency. Yeah, we got it in position already through connections. So, identify, yep, okay, complicated, but it's making more sense. Commander's breaking it all down for us to understand, but no, everything gets easier. That's for us as we high rise and just happens automatically. And that's what it is. I'll say that again. It happens automatically, which means it's already stored. See, once the soul understands everything, I don't just travel these things and pick it up. It won't make any sense to me. It already has to be in store of information already inside you, which means you've already traveled to it, right? And that makes it easier on the mind, okay? See, if you're walking down a street and you're coming up to a position to anything to the level system, north or south and east, whatever you're seeing, right? You're seeing for the first time, right? And then you have to understand what you're seeing, right? So if you've already seen it, it goes in your storage. That's why it's so powerful. So it's all about the soul recognizing everything that's already done, which is in the cloud, right? Like Hunger Games, yeah. Moving when our simulated island that writes in clocking positions. That's exactly what it is. Very good example with the Hunger Games, right? So you already have to see yourself winning the battle. So you always have to see yourself catching your food. So instead of pausing and hesitating, you just don't stand there because somebody will take it before you do. So that's energy manipulation right there, right? But you also have to know it's a trap. You have to understand the trap. And that's all through scavenger. And that's the whole point of the Hunger Games, is to get out of positions and how to use strategy in your mind system, how to use your thoughts on how to get what you want, how to use your programs and how to move forward without any deviation or anything that connections or anything to a virus line system, right? So once you become your holographic of yourself, you come into structure lines, okay? Into high rise positions. It's already set for you. That's why it's extremely powerful, because everything I do is already created. Okay? Everything I do is already created. Okay? So it's trying to understanding what you're dealing with and how you get into formations to all position line system to its location. See? So it's incredible when you see these things. And when they start spinning faster and faster and faster, you're changing shape anomalies of structures. So you can pretty much change the structure line of the shape of its station. This is what the mind does, the creation. Now, this is high forcing positions, but imagine this spinning extremely fast. Imagine this spinning extremely fast. So you can change the shape positions. So if it's traveling to 50 million years in the future, each particle shape is going to change every single time you talk. Every time you use your information, calculation modification line centers, changes block line system's location. You're changing the new structure line from this to this. So that's how it works, right? But everything is done inside and out. Okay, so, but see, that's it. Even though it sounds complicated, we have already been trained. That's it, extensively before incarnating, because it's already known. It's there already for you in the storage. And that's what you have to understand. You have a cloud of information through its archive. Your computer has that. You put it in your photo ops. You store information that's already there for you, right? So when you get a photo, what do? You're putting something in, right? So you come back to it. If the soul wants to identify it, it knows exactly what it is. It knows exactly where it's stored. So it's collecting, it's collecting, it's collecting, it's collecting. That's what it's doing. It's trying to remember who it is, or she. That's all this works. That's how everything works. And that's why the mind is so powerful, because it's coming into all levels incarnating, which is already done through its equation, through its structure line division. Okay. So look at that, almost 2 hours. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating when you come to structure lines of hologram position locations. But it's amazing how you go into force recognition. So let's say you have a structure line system. You're in 15 million years in the future. Now you understand the force and direction inside and out through a structure line system. You can spin it. You can change it. You can move it. You can take this shape out. You can put that shape out there. That's what I do in the universe. I do the computer line center, keyboard line system. I reframe, readjust, refocus, change the shape anomaly, change track line system. I do through calculation. I set it up, and there it's stored, right? And if I need to go back to it, see, that's how I get it back. So it's all about understanding it's already inside you, already stored. You just have to figure out what it is. So I will have to back phrase, been traveling fast. Yeah, through thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful, isn't it, Diane? So I'm going to head over to TikTok. You guys have any questions or comments? I know this is a very, very powerful video. I don't expect everybody to understand it. But Tina's in this position right now. She's coming out of the tracks at 369, and she's coming into her formations at 369 and 12 platforms. Right? She's coming into her dynamic cores, higher structure line system of perception. And this comes into the atom rotation. So instead of using their structure lines of shapes, she's going to come into the atom, which is really faster. So it's really amazing how you come into these things, because it's already stored for her. She just has to understand why. And everything through your life starts making more sense now. Well, okay, I'm in the center of everything now. So, this is all the whole part, is getting into the soul of everything through the center. You're the center of everything. It's you trying to remember. Okay? So, resonate. Yeah, everything resonates with you. And in time, you'll find all your positions, why you have a cloud in the first place. Your computer has a cloud, an e-cloud. It's stored, right? Has its cookies, has its application, has its defaults, has its web design, has its windows. It's a computer. You are a computer. So you understand the holographic connections to all position of the structure lines, which is already stored in your information. All right. So, but I have fun. Adios.